Iron Lung, Markiplier's movie. Let's talk about it. For those of you that don't know, Iron Lung is a film that has been entirely funded and backed by this channel's main inspiration, Markiplier. He's been a source of inspiration for me for a very long time. Not just from an aesthetic of making, YouTube Let's Play videos for video games, but just for personal reasons as well. We'll get into those personal reasons a little later. But for now, what is Iron Lung? Iron Lung is a game made by David Szymanski. He's made several games and is within a family of video game makers, with My Friendly Neighborhood being helmed by the Szymanski family.
Yay! Shut the fuck up.
Regardless of this, he made a game called Iron Lung. Markiplier, of course, he played it, and I definitely watched practically, I think there's multiple videos that Markiplier put out for Iron Lung. I watched all of them. Like, I watch every single Markiplier YouTube video. And like Markiplier, I was fascinated by the lore. Now, it's not a game that I personally would play. It's not my type of game. But watching Markiplier play it and enjoy it as much as he did was fascinating. And you could tell that by watching him play the game, the wheels were turning. Now, before we get into the film, an important aspect is obviously the lore. In never playing it, I never really got into actually pushing the buttons and going down in the submarine, but I, researched the lore of it, the behind the scenes kind of stuff that is kind of cryptically added into the game. And by saying that, I mean that I looked up a ton of YouTube videos to understand what's happening in the game. And the reason why is because the story is actually insane. The game itself takes place in one place. A submarine. The lore behind why you're in that submarine ventures into religion, eldritch horror, and Armageddon. To put it in the most basic of basic ways, humanity is a spacefaring civilization in this alternate timeline. At some point, something called the Quiet Rapture happens. And this is weird because out of nowhere, literal whole planets and stars just disappear. There are a handful of space stations left with a handful of spaceships, and it's concluded that humanity has been reverted to less than thousands sprawling around space trying to make sense of what has happened. In this process, humanity finds a couple of moons. Those moons aren't normal. They're filled with oceans of blood. The respective surviving human coalitions think there's some kind of salvation within those moons, filled with oceans of blood. Why? But they send expeditions down to figure out what the hell is going on. Some of these expeditions are in literal steel coffins that they place convicts inside. The Iron Lung. And these convicts are sent to do the most dangerous expeditions because they don't expect them to return. And in so exploring the oceans of blood on these moons, they find weird stuff within it. Enter the game and Markiplier's film. It's no surprise that I am a Markiplier fan. He's one of the reasons that this channel even exists, alongside a lot of other YouTubers that serve as my main inspirations for even creating content. But all in all, if we're just talking about the film as a whole, the film is good. It's not perfect. It's got its flaws and its bumps, of course it does. But if we're talking about specific things that it does incredibly well here, damn, it just looks good. Like, it looks fantastic. It's just a really good looking film. The use of camera focus, camera angles, bokeh, distortion, even the CGI. The blood, Jesus Christ, the blood, oh my god. Practical effects, like literally everything about the film. It doesn't feel like, it feels like you're put into this world. That's what it's immersive. That's the right word. It's immersive. And it did its job. And it's just so amazing to see how good this film looks. Outside of this, I do think that if you don't know what the game is about, you're gonna be a bit lost and you might check out a little bit. For me, that wasn't the case at all. But if you have no clue who Markiplier is, what Iron Lung is about, this film is not gonna be for you. Acting-wise, Markiplier is good. He's not great, he's good. He's good. There are points in the film where I found it a little difficult to kind of separate Markiplier as the YouTuber from the actual actual character Simon, because Markiplier, he's very comedic and he takes a very pragmatic approach to pretty much every single game that he plays. And he has this kind of like you mentality when it comes to games, oftentimes pushing a game to its breaking point. But he does a good job. I say this particularly because he drastically picks it up as the film progresses. And I'm not entirely sure what this is about, but I felt the exact same way when I saw Edge of Sleep. I got an Amazon Prime subscription just for Edge of Sleep. But it does take Mark a little bit of a minute to get into the role, to kind of like acclimate himself and to, you know, feel, you know, what that character is supposed to be feeling. And that's not a bad thing. I just think it takes him a little bit. But when Markiplier's locked in, oh my god, it's so believable, and I just loved seeing that on film. The pace of the film is a slow burn. It's a slow burn, and that's being incredibly generous. It takes a while for things to start happening, but and we'll get to this later. It's that aspect of the film is done on purpose. And again, this is what I mean by, if you don't understand Iron Lung and you don't understand a story, you don't understand a game, it's gonna wane on your nerves a little bit, right? And that's sort of the point. That's kind of the point of the film. A lot of the film is told through exposition dumps from, you know, a voice or several voices through an intercom, a computer, an X-ray photo machine, or X-ray photos being taken as Simon, also known as Markiplier, plunges into the depths of an ocean of blood. But it's almost verbatim the game on every level, and it's done incredibly well. But like I said before, it does take a while for things to happen, and if you're the type of person that just wants like non-stop horror or gore or action, this is not what this film is about. Okay, it's just not. It's not on that type of level. Is there like gore and action in the film? Yes, but that's really ultimately that's not what the film is about. That's not what the lore is about either. Okay, the film is more cerebral. It's more psychological. And to me, I didn't really find it scary in a sense like, oh, you know, jump scares or like, you know, a lot of the content that Markiplier got famous for, like FNAF. Right? It's not scary in a sense where you're watching it and oh, boom, something pops out at you. That's not what this is about. It's more of a cosmic dread that encroaches in a very claustrophobic scene because the whole film is set in a submarine. Some of the flaws that I found here were just kind of in like audio mixing. And to be honest, I'm not sure if this was just the theater that I saw it at, because I feel like if I saw this film in like an IMAX or in a theater that had like a superb or an amazingly just awesome sound system, it would have, I would have a completely different thing to say about it. From my experience, I saw it in a theater and the audio for some reason was like super low. It wasn't loud, like it wasn't blasting my ears out. And I almost kind of just wanted to, you know, get headphones so I could, you know, maybe Wi-Fi blast the audio into my head because it was just like, it was so low. And I just think that was a flaw, not by the movie sense, but from the theater sense. But for me, in my experience, it made it hard to kind of follow through with some of the story beats and some of the story moments where, not to give any spoilers away, but certain things happen that you kind of have to pay attention to and have to hear what is being said. Outside of that, there were a lot of very surprising moments in the film. Towards like, you know, I want to say maybe 3/4 to like the end, and maybe like, you know, very, very close to the end. And to me, it solidified Mark's vision of being an extremely competent horror filmmaker. So with that being said, this is my spoiler-free review. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't think everyone will, but I did. And of course, just like typical Mark fashion, he has inspired me. Mark, time and time again throughout doing his content, he always says that the type of things that he does, whether it's a gameplay, whether it's a film, whether it's one of his short films, you know, on YouTube, he always wants to inspire people to just create things, just to create things, no matter how weird or strange or cool or whatever it is. He just wants people to create, and he wants to be the vessel to be able to inspire people to do those things. And the reason why I'm inspired from my perspective is simply because he did it. He completely self-financed, starred, directed, produced, and co-wrote an entire film. That's literally nuts. Okay? And for the quality of the film and the way it is and the way it looks, everything about it is just seeping with just that just makes it even more nuts to me. The film itself looks better than some high budgeted films, and that alone is worth volumes. I'm not entirely sure what Markiplier's budget was for the film, but I imagine that it's way, way less than what some of these Marvel films go for. Shit, I imagine it's less than what the first Twilight movie's budget was, and I looked it up. Okay, do you know what the first Twilight movie's budget was? $37 million. $37 million, bro. Those movies suck. They're the shittiest pieces of shit. And they threw $37 million at somebody to make that shit. Okay? Wow. And to get a bit personal here, the other reason why I am inspired is because I have had ideas that I've just given up on. One of my ideas is a video game. I've literally been kind of like, plucking and picking away at this video game for the past 15 years of my life. I know what this game looks like in my head. Like, I can literally visualize it. I can visualize the gameplay. I can visualize the story. I can visualize everything. I have chapters. Okay? And I swear, if I could pluck this thing out of my brain somehow and just throw it onto a screen, I would. I have story. I have characters. I have artwork. Like, concept art already done. Okay, granted, yes, I use Midjourney AI for the artwork, and that's because I just don't have the money to be able to pay for somebody to do it, and it's $20. It's a concept. It's something that's physical, something that I could see that's there, and I see it, right? But it's all right now. It's all just concepts and ideas, and it's physically impossible for me to visualize how to even make that into a physical thing. And I know for a fact that this game would just be so dope to play. It would just be amazing because it's a stealth action game. Where the hell have all the stealth action games gone? And it's a revenge story. And I know this would be just so dope to just make. I've even considered making it in Dreams. The PS5 Dreams thing, and I know it would just be so fun to do, and I just don't even know where to begin. I don't even know how to code. I don't know how to do any of these things. I kind of gave up on it. I kind of threw it on the back burner and figured maybe someday I'll pull it back out and start chugging away at it. And that was always me, being a lover of video games, right? And the medium is just always been something that I've always just wanted to do, is to create something that someone can enjoy in the same way that I love video games. And it's just been so, that's one of my dreams. One of my dreams is to create a video game. Alternatively, and I know this is like the new thing because Markiplier made a film and all of that, I also want to make films too. I have family. Like, in my family, my brother, he's produced films. Granted, he does documentary work, and that requires a completely different subset of skills, right? But some of my ideas that I have are strictly within the horror, like making a horror film. Because I have such good ideas, so many good ideas, that I know would just be fantastic horror films. And I can't do it. I can't do it. And it's just a great sadness, because I know that if I had the resources and I had the ability to be able to pursue these things, I know it would just be extremely fun to do, and it would require so much work, and it would be just all encompassing. But I just know just seeing the end result would just be phenomenal, just phenomenal. It would be just dope. And some of these film ideas I've even written out. Like, I have scenes, I've been practicing, writing scripts and things like that. Some of them are just terrible ideas, and some of them are great. Maybe from my perspective, I even have my wife read them sometimes, and she's like, yo, this is crazy. This would be amazing to watch. And seeing Markiplier do this, I mean, there have been several YouTubers, you know, that have gone to do films. You know, Chris Stuckman, to name one. He did you know, Shelby Oaks, but for some reason Markiplier's film hits a little harder because it's entirely indie, an entirely indie film, and to see him do it from start to finish, it just makes me think that maybe someday I can do this too, you know? If not, you know, just for fun, but just in the pursuit of just doing it. I don't even understand why I'm getting emotional recording this. This is weird. But yeah, just in the pursuit of just doing it, you know? And even if I don't end up doing it entirely, you know, and maybe I could just write it or, you know, sell the idea somewhere so that it could just be made, so that I could just see my idea come to fruition. That would just be enough. And that alone is just inspiring enough. Weird. Why am I getting emotional? And with that being said, what's annoying to me about, you know, Iron Lung being seen and reviewed is how people are reviewing it. This is not Mark's first rodeo, and I'm not here to be like, oh, I'm a huge Markiplier fan, because obviously I am, right? But it's not his first rodeo. It's not the first time that he's done something like this, right? And it's annoying to me when people say, oh, this is his first film. This is not his first film. It's just not. In Space with Markiplier is literally like triple this film. Sure, yeah, it's funny and it's fun and it's like a choose your own adventure YouTube thing. But if you get deep enough into In Space with Markiplier, there's a very profound piece in there where your character, you, just sits down with Markiplier in an abandoned diner and you have a conversation with him. Mark is just holding his mug and, you know, it's very campy and he's, you know, he's got like gray hair. And I remember when I was, you know, playing it and I was watching it, that specific part in Space with Markiplier hit me so hard.
Everything has to end, Captain. It has to. It doesn't matter how tightly you hold on to things, they'll still just slip right through your fingers. You'll always make mistakes. You have to. And that's okay. I just wish I learned that sooner.
So hard to a point where I actually got emotional. And maybe that's the reason why I'm getting emotional now, right? Like just talking about this. But it hit me so hard because it's so poetic. It's so poetic and it's just so beautiful and it's just a great moment in Space with Markiplier. And literally that scene alone, it continues to be the inspiration of why I keep making videos, of why I keep doing this, why I keep, whether it's good or bad or whatever the case is, why I just keep trying and trying and trying. But there's so much in that series, film, whatever you want to call it, alone, that you can literally spend hours on it and get lost in it. Heist is also another one that's just hilariously fun to watch and play. So he has experience in the business. And other people who are reviewing it, just touting it as like,
oh, it's just another YouTuber that made a film.
It's so annoying because it's something that I deal with personally too, right? Raka Raka made Talk to Me. That film is fantastic. And while it was backed by, you know, A24, it's still great. And even still, people just shit on the YouTube badge as if it's something to be ashamed of. I do this because it's fun. It requires time. It requires planning and thought. I do all of this myself. And to me, I always have this very different kind of opinion about doing content. I feel like, you know, the best creations, the best things, oftentimes the best art comes out of just sheer enjoyment of just creating the content. I don't need millions of subscribers. I don't need, you know, millions of people to see the video. I don't need any of that. I just want to do it because I'm having fun with it, right? Because it's fun to do, because it's flexing my creative muscles, because I'm learning something new. And to have something that you spend so much time on just belittled by someone who just says,
oh, it's just YouTube,
is so frustrating because there's so much talent on this platform, and it just gets overlooked entirely. There are literal films, whole films on here that people don't get paid for, that will put a lot of these films that end up in the movie theaters to shame. And it just diminishes the level of creativity that goes into this entire process when someone says shit like that. It's incredibly frustrating. Incredibly frustrating. And I kind of feel like the entire point of Markiplier just doing this and the way that he's done it is just kind of like bury that mentality. Because for me, and for people like me, YouTube is the only creative outlet. And to see Markiplier do it in an entirely indie funded way as like the biggest middle finger to the industry, it's just amazing, man. Like I can't even explain to you how inspiring that is. I can't. Again, I don't understand why I'm getting a little bit emotional about it, but yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Iron Lung is a film you should watch. If not for support of Markiplier, to see what sheer creativity, belief, and innovation can do. Even if you don't know him or any of his content at all, you should just watch the film and judge for yourself. For me, this film really, it probably will go down on a personal level and continually be an immense inspiration. Like I don't know how to describe it. Okay, I just don't know how to describe it. And thinking about it, right, and given the fact that he's been able to do it, it feels so good, so good. And as part of Mark's ongoing sort of mission to inspire people, he doesn't disappoint at all in this film. But anyways, guys, I got a little emotional because this kind of hits in a very personal way. I don't know why it does. Maybe it's because I have a lot of big dreams and big things that I would love to do. But yeah, what I think. What do you think? Did you see Iron Lung? And if you did, what do you think of the film? I want to hear what you have to say. If you didn't like it, if you did like it, let me know in the comments. I would love to see what you have to say about the film. And I would love to just have a conversation about it. So let's talk about it, all right? Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. You have absolutely no idea what this means to me. Not Iron Lung, but what you watching this video means to me. And also, like, you know, liking, sharing, and subscribing. You should do that. Go do that. Go leave a like. Go share it with your friends, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, man, I feel incredible. This it's amazing to see. It's amazing to see. Congratulations to Markiplier. And that's about it. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everything that you guys do. You have absolutely no idea, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Have a great night. Have a great tomorrow. Peace, and much love.